It was reported a couple of days ago that the Chicago Bulls offered to trade Zach LaVine over to the Golden State Warriors for Chris Paul or Andrew Wiggins, and the Golden State Warriors declined the deal. We're going to be talking about what this means for the Chicago Bulls. What does this mean for Zach LaVine? This is Rico Greenhowe, and this is another episode of Bulls Digest, guys. And before we go ahead and jump into the content, wanted to let you guys know that 77% of you guys that watch the videos are not subscribed to the channel. Make sure you mash that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with the latest news and happenings around your Chicago Bulls, guys. And so, without further ado, let's jump into this madness of yet another Zach LaVine deal that doesn't go through. Okay, so we heard about the 15 trade proposals, and we don't even know, like, did we hang up the phone? Did they hang up the phone? Whatever, it didn't go through. So 15 trade proposals. And what's crazy about this one, guys, what is so interesting about this is that before free agency started, okay, Woj was on ESPN, and he was saying that, look, the Golden State Warriors are going to be extremely aggressive in free agency. Okay, they were like, in the case that they were losing Klay Thompson, they were going to make sure that they turned over every single stone when it came to going ahead and making themselves a winner, or putting themselves in a winning situation moving forward, guys. And so look at this. They were first and foremost targeting Paul George. That went out the window once he opted out of his deal. Okay, so there was no sign and trade there. And from what I understand, we don't know, but we're hearing that the Golden State Warriors were going to in all likelihood, somehow find a way to give him his max. I don't know how that was going to work. Either way, then we were told that they were going to shift focus to Zach LaVine and Brandon Ingram, guys. And so they had a chance to get one of their focal points, Zach LaVine, and they literally turned it down, guys. And this is incredible. Okay, so you want the player, but you decline him. I'm like, what is it about Zach LaVine, guys? And so to put this a little bit more into context, guys, this was reported from Chris Haynes. He was saying, I was told the Chicago Bulls were trying to get something going with the Golden State Warriors, trying to get a Zach LaVine package together. He said, what I was told is that they were looking for Chris Paul or Andrew Wiggins. So to be clear about that, it was either or. And, the Warriors basically said that they didn't feel that this was an adequate amount of anything to really get the deal done. All right. And so they eventually went ahead. They told Chris Paul that they were releasing him. It says that Mike Dunleavy, the general manager, personally told Chris Paul he would go on to be let go. And then he eventually signs on to the San Antonio Spurs, guys. But you're seeing at the bottom of the screen again, guys. Look, 29 is Zach LaVine. He averaged the 19.5, 5.2 rebounds, 3.9 assists, and shooting on 45.2% from the field and 34.9% from three-point land, guys, with that $138 million over the next 3 seasons is what the contract is, guys. And so, look, we know that at the end of the day, okay, the contract, we've seen, I think, some wild contracts out there, and I think that there's probably going to be some more wilder contracts. And then, to put this in full context as well, I was just kind of looking through some podcasts, man, and shout out to Locked on Bulls, man, Hayes, Pat the Designer. They bring up an outstanding point here. First and foremost, guys, I had to go back and listen to this a couple times, but it was stated that out of the player that has played 500 games in the NBA, guys, that Zach LaVine has the worst winning percentage. Okay, one more time. So out of the 500 games played, right, his winning percentage is it is the worst. And I'm saying to myself, like, I didn't know that Zach LaVine was that terrible, man, as far as affecting winning. I mean, I think it's one thing to look at a guy and you go, okay, he can score the basketball, but I just wonder now, are teams just seriously going to themselves and like looking like, dude, he can score, but if he's not on, or if he's halfway on, we're still going to lose the game. And even if he's on, we still have a chance of losing the game. Like, that's how bad it seems like it is with Zach LaVine. And I'm like, even if it's come down to that, it just, to me, it feels like there has to be something else. Like, is it an injury? Is it something else that has gone on in the locker room or management that we don't know about? Because for whatever it is, I can just say this: Zach LaVine has been a great professional. I think that he's been terrific with his teammates. I haven't seen anything, not anything, that suggests that Zach LaVine has caused anything in the locker room or with some of the players out there. He hasn't said anything to Kobe White. It's nothing to DeSumo. He's done nothing to stunt their growth. He didn't say anything to DeMar DeRozan. Like, I not seeing anything, not hearing anything. But I just think it's incredible that a team that was looking to go ahead and have insurance plans in place for when Klay Thompson walked out the door and they had a chance to get a player that they were supposedly targeting, and they said no. Like, that's incredible. And you know what? Another thing that I'm kind of thinking about this too as well, just going back there, this is a little bit of a theory, but if the Chicago Bulls were essentially going to take Chris Paul and then to go ahead and buy him out, cut him, whatever they were going to do, which I'm hearing that was probably not going to be likely with management. But now I'm asking this kind of question. Is it now that so many teams had inquired about Zach LaVine when the price was high, and we literally didn't pick up the phone, or we rejected so many deals for him, that now that we want to trade him, now nobody is inclined to help out the Chicago Bulls? Like, nobody cares at all what they have with Zach LaVine. And I wonder now, if we would have attached to an asset to try to move off Zach LaVine right then and there, would that have been enough for Golden State to commit? Because I mean, apparently from what Bobby Marks is saying, he's saying that, look, even with a first round pick attached, it wasn't going to happen. And I don't know. We don't know. We're not in those rooms. We're not having those discussions. But I think that it's very interesting, guys. So with that being said, look, Zach LaVine has severely kind of cost us a little bit here, because with him being on the roster, guys, like I said before, when we made that move with Patrick Williams, he was still on the roster. We knew that essentially DeMar DeRozan wasn't coming back, or either of the two are not coming back now. So it looks like even now we can include Lonzo Ball as being in that he's got to go too as well, guys. So let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking. No, I've been rambling on, but do you think that Zach LaVine has to go immediately? Do you think that Zach LaVine must stay now and we're not going to be able to trade him until the trade deadline, right? Or, do you feel like everything out there is just, it's all made up, right? Whatever, somebody's making something up. Somebody just doesn't want Zach LaVine. I don't know what to say at this point in time, guys. Another proposal down the drain for the Chicago Bulls. And even though we don't know what's going on with Zach LaVine, and even though we know that my man is eating up the vast majority of the cap, and he could be injured yet again next season, I'm still saying go Bulls. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.